Perik Chof Mishnah Beis. So we're carrying on with those kelim which have a dual function. It's a kli kibble, and it's also roy l'shiva or shchiva, the mishkav or moishev, and therefore is able to be mekabel tamas medris. We've identified three categories. Quickly recap them. The first one is a kli kibble, which you can sit on, but the sitting on it disturbs the kli kibble aspect, and that's called amoid v'nasa melachteinu. In such a case, because the primary function is the yeshiva, and the sitting actually disturbs, the primary function is the kibble, the sitting on it disturbs the yeshiva function. You can't do both together. Therefore, we say the rule that the kli kibble is the only thing that matters. It is a regular kli kibble and is not able to be mekabel to medris. That was category 1. Category 2 is where you have two functions and they do not disturb each other. In other words, you can sit on it while the kli is able to do its primary function of kibble. There's no problem of amoid v'nasa melachteinu. However, there is definitely a primary function, i.e. the kibble, and the yeshiva is only a secondary function. In such a case, as long as the keli is whole, it is actually to be able to be mekabel both tumas negia through mesa sheretz and tumas medris, both together. However, once the primary function becomes bottle, for instance it breaks, then the whole thing becomes shever kli, and the medris also becomes bottle, and the kli is completely tar. Then there was category 3, which was the beginning of the perek, when you have a keli which has both functions, and both functions are as important as each other. The kibble and the yeshiva are equal in importance. Then the rule is, even if one function becomes bottle, the other function continues as before. That's category 3, and we will, in the middle of this Mishnah, pick up a fourth category. Let's start the Mishnah. Chemes chalilin tahira min hamedris. This is quite a simple case. This is known for people who were Scottish antecedents. It's the case of an instrument called the bagpipes. A big leather pouch with pipes sticking out, and you blow into it, it makes a lovely noise. Some people say an awful noise. The Menachos Shlomo describes in detail how this kli is made. Very interesting. Torah min hamedris, because maybe it's possible to sit on it b'shas adchak, but it's generally not used for shchiva and yeshiva, and you certainly can't play the instrument while you are lying on it. Therefore, it's got no din of medris, and therefore it's Torah min hamedris. Another case, arevas pisoinos. Arevas is a big tub, a big trough. Pisoinos is one used by farmers to lug around big clods of earth and stones. Bishama omrim medris, ubasila omrim tomi mes. Very little information as to exactly what the nekudas hamachlokas is between Bishama and Bishillel. It sounds like there's a matter of degrees. Bishama say you can sleep on it, albeit b'shas adchak. That's enough to say that it's royal shchiva v'yeshiva, and therefore it's Tomei Medris. And Mesidel say, sorry, that's that type of lying on it. It's not really made for lying on it, and therefore it's not Meshamish shchiva v'yeshiva, and therefore it's Tomei Medris. We don't know exactly what they are arguing on. Next case. Now I'm going to go to the fourth category of those kelim that have dual functions. Arevo, we're now dealing with a big tub, a trough. This was primarily used for lisho, for kneading dough. Kneading big dough, you have a big bathtub, like a big bathtub, and you knead in it, dough in it. While the areva is complete, is whole, is not broken, it is only used for lisha. It is not used for shchiva, and therefore a poshut, that when it's still whole, unbroken, it's only mekabel to masmeis v'sheretz, has no relevance to medris. However, says the Mishnah, Areva mi base loig v'atisha kabin, if the Areva is it's got a certain size, it's bigger than 2 loig, and less than tisha kabin, then there's a special din shenistika. When it cracks and is now not able to be used for lisha, it is now tamei medris. Here we have a case where we've got function A, which is the kibble, and that function, as long as you can do that function, that's the only function. Medris doesn't exist. As soon as function A breaks, because it's cracked, there's an automatic assumption of medris in it. This keli is now used by everybody. In such a case, it's automatically meyuchad for medris, for leaning on. Therefore, this is a case which has a dual function. As soon as it can't do function A, because now it's broken, automatically it's miyuchat by everybody for shchiva and yeshiva, and therefore now on it's tamei medris. So that's really a fourth category. This broken areva, which is cracked and is now used for shchiva and yeshiva, you then leave it in the rain and it swells up and the cracks close. Now it cannot be used for shchiva and yeshiva anymore. It's back to its needing function. It's lost its medris function. It cannot be mekabel tumas medris. Now from now on can only be mekabel tumas meis. And if it was actually already tamei medris, it actually was tamei medris, and then it becomes the cracks seal up, and then you cannot. That's now not roy l'shchiva yeshiva. That actually will depend on the machlokas in Perek Chav Zayin Mishnah test. But when you have a case of something which is roy medris, and then something changes in it, it is now not roy medris anymore. What happens to the tumas medris? So Mitzvah will do it when we get to Chav Zayin tests. Bekodim, you then put in an eastern warm wind v'nistakon, it cracks again. So now it goes back to being roy l'shchiva, mekabel es medris. From now on, it's mekabel tumas medris. Zer choyme b'shori klei eitz mibit chiloson. This is a case where we're dealing with kli eitz here, where normally the shiraim, you have a keli and then something breaks. What breaks is called shiraim. Normally the shiraim is less able to be mekabel tuma than the original kli. Here is a case, it's the reverse. The shiraim are more chomer than the original function. When the areva was whole, it was not roy l'shchiva, it was only mekabel tumas mes. When it breaks and it becomes called shiraim, it's then automatically miyuchat yeshiva and is now roy in a medris. The Mishnah is contrasting this with the next case. This contrast is a little bit difficult. V'choyme b'shore klei nitzorim. The Melech HaShlomo says it's actually better if you leave out the word b'shore here. We're dealing with klei nitzorim, keli made out of wicker. Wicker work. These are, I believe, strips from the willow tree, and you weave baskets. Here, the normal that applies, that the beginning of the kli is more chomer than the shiraim. How? When you make a wicker basket in the beginning, you have to finish the whole kli, including the chasima is the edge. You've got to finish off the edge. Only then do you have a gemar kli, only then is it a mekabel tuma. But once this chasma, once you've had the edge and it's become a kli, then alpha pishin noshru sifsasein, although it breaks and the edge breaks off, and the whole basket becomes worn down. Kol shein. Even though most of it's come down, you're only left with a little bit of basket at the bottom, it's tamein, because the shiraim retain their shem kli, because they still have a little bit of a use, even though it's broken. So the shiraim are worse. The shiraim are more chomedik than the tchila. It's actually not a chomer of the shiraim to the tchila. And the Chazon Ish and the other Achronim on this Mishnah actually struggle to actually find pshat, how this is a contrast with the previous case of Kli Eitz. But nevertheless, the din remains that the Klei Netzer, you've got to finish it off in the beginning stage to make it be mekabel tuma. Once it's finished, it can then wear down and become broken and still able to be mekabel tuma. Then we move on to Mishnah.